Welcome everyone. This is our 15th episode of World Talent Economy Forum. Today we have a brilliant mind. He is a game changer. He is a freedom fighter for Bangladesh. He was a successful corporate person. And most important thing is that he is a good man. He is a very good example for Bangladesh and for international arena. So we get this guy from actually from Nepal, and he lives in Himalayas. He's a big man. His idea and thought, everything is brilliant. And World Talent Economy Forum is really happy to see this kind of brilliant minds in our forum. So now I want to give like times for Mr. Akku Chaudhuri. He will introduce himself, and as well as he will introduce his new era of world concept. So, hello, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Sharifuddin Ahmed, and thank you for inviting me as your
Yes, sir.
guest. I feel honored.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Like first thing first, I know that we know already that you have three part of your life. First things, you are a great freedom fighters. You did lot of for Bangladesh nations. Second things, you are very successful corporate persons. Third things, you are a good human. Like young generation should learn from you how they can follow your guidelines and everything. So today we will not ask you too much of questions. You give your path, you give your new era of words and all of your concepts. So why, like from where you want to start, you can start. We want to just listen. We are ready to listen from you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharif. It's again, your World Talent Economy Forum. I think a great organization you're building, and what I heard from you, fantastic, and all the best wishes. Well, as for me, yes, I cannot say a freedom fighter is always a freedom fighter. I'm a
Yeah.
freedom fighter. I've been a corporate person, and about the good human, I will debate on that because we, you know until the last day you can know you don't know whether you're good or bad. And that's
Yes.
again is where I am at the moment, creating a retreat for conscience, which
Mhm.
is to ask oneself, to find
Mhm.
oneself, that what am I doing, is it whatever I'm doing, is it right or wrong? I can only answer to my own self. That
Mhm.
is I can fool everybody, or most of the people get away with it, but if only it's you yourself who has to really answer that question. Whatever I'm doing now, is it really good? Is it evil? Is it going to hurt
Mhm.
other people? And that's
Mhm.
where the conscience is. Each of us have to decide their own.
Mhm.
And I think before I go on what I'm doing now, I mean, as you said, a freedom fighter. Yes, I think I should go to the past because that's the
Mhm.
basic. My youth, when I grew up, I think it was an honor to be able to fight for my country.
Mhm.
And I grew up at a time when I was 18, in the late teens. The world was, there was, I think, one of the best of the time,
Mhm.
because also worst of the time because there was anti-Vietnam protests going on, the youth
Mhm.
were rising, so a new awareness. And then there came the hippies, the flower power. So that is my growing. That's my foundation.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what that did to me was, even the trauma of the war.
Mhm.
And it's when you're fighting, you have got a goal, because you had to, what the Pakistanis were doing against the innocent people was intolerable. So most of
Mhm.
the young people, our age, and the story of our liberation war, we participated, we joined, but the horrors, the gore, the glory, everything together leaves behind at the mind of a young man or a
Mhm.
woman a trauma that you are stuck with the PTSD. But I was fortunate uh, to be able to turn that PTSD into PTG, the growth, make the post trauma into a growth. And I guess today I challenge myself in everything. I have that strength that I got from the back, from the 70s, from the war. So that strength to challenge, to do the impossible. And that um, I made a commitment to my mother that if I survived the war, I would go for higher studies, because I was, as a young kid, I was not uh, I didn't have my mind in my school. I didn't want to study. So that was the deal, that, you can go to the war, but when you come back, you have to come abroad and finish your studies. So I went to England first, and it didn't work out. Then I went to America. I did my studies. I lived there for many years, and I was getting very comfortable with the American life. I lived in one of the best places in the world, California. So you couldn't get any better than that. And that was the beautiful time of the Americans. The what America really stands for: the freedom, the liberty, and all that. So I really love California, and I love that ideology, because that's what I fought for. But unfortunately, it just I could understand the rat race and the the difference of the materialistic world was not fitting into the real world, and the disaster that may come because of following in the Western way of life. And I think in the middle 80s, I came back to Bangladesh. And by then, I was influenced by the economist E.F. Shoemaker, who wrote a book called Small is Beautiful. It's a new concept that he was trying to tell the world that, hey, the way we are modernizing, we are developing ourselves, the carbon emission and everything, it's going to hurt us. And that is back in the 70s. And what he said really influenced me to be able to follow his path of creating a space which can be sustainable, self-sustainable, which will not depend on the fossil fuel and will not create carbon emissions. And that idea stuck with me, and I wanted to do it when I went back. But I guess I was too early with that idea. And I mean, Shoemaker's idea also didn't work out, because he was neither a communistic idea, neither a capitalistic idea. So it was more an idea that goes with the nature, and the people were not ready. People didn't see there were more deniers of the global warming, the climate changes in the 70s and the 80s even. So when I came back, and so I went into the mainstream. I started my own business. I I made started with a furniture factory, made modern furnitures in Bangladesh. It did pretty good. Then I did an ice cream parlor. Then I did a gelateria, rather. So I introduced for the first time the Italian ice cream, and it was quite a good success. Then I added a restaurant to it, the Italian restaurant. And then I got busy with building the Liberation War Museum with my friends. We 8 trustees started the Liberation War Museum in the 90s, because there was a total denial of 71. And so we felt that the strength for the nation is its past, and the glory of 71, the spirit with which we wanted to build our country, is the spirit that was getting lost. The young people growing up after 75, after Bangabandhu was killed with assassinated with his family, because the people who were defeated in 71 didn't forget. They wanted to take the revenge. And unfortunately, we lost the father of our nation, and the the whole image, the philosophy, and the idea of the creation of Bangladesh was washed away. It seemed like. And when I came back in the late 80s, it was pretty
Mhm.
pathetic to see the way things were going. And then we were very fortunate that Shoaib Janani Jahanara Imam uh,
Mhm.
started a movement for the trial
Mhm.
of the war crime and the war criminals and the collaborators from Bangladesh who were participating wholeheartedly with the Pakistanis to carry on the killings in the 9 months of 71.
Mhm.
And that movement really awoke the people of Bangladesh. I think the new generation started to understand, but there were no documentation yet. So the
Mhm.
Liberation War Museum was created by 8 of us, the trustees. We had the floated the ideas, and then we talked to the freedom fighters, and most of them were more than happy to help us with whatever they had, whatever documents, whatever artifacts they had, and they started contributing. And we took a rented house and we built that museum, and
Mhm.
that I think did a great base to to bring back the
Mhm.
history in the right perspective, and the young generation grew up knowing their past because it was being erased, forgotten in less than 20 years. And today I think the youth of Bangladesh are more knowledgeable because more and more people are working on the documentation. And from
Mhm.
then on, after that, I did my part. After about 10 years with that, servicing for the museum, working
Mhm.
almost full time, I moved on to the corporate world.
Mhm.
Transcom Group, and the
Mhm.
Transcom Foods Limited was built, and we brought in two of the world class brands, Pizza Hut and KFC. And I
Mhm.
was put in charge to be the operation manager and build it from scratch. And
Mhm.
we did it. I think I left it 3 years back. I
Mhm.
retired because then I think it was my time had come to go on, continue on. And I was lucky. I was looking for a space where I could create this retreat, which would have lodgings for people who want to stay for long time residency, to do writing, to be thinking, or just to enjoy
Mhm.
nature. Because
Mhm.
uh, Nepal is still very virgin as far as the environment goes, the clean air, the greenery, the mountains, and the wilderness, and that,
Mhm.
as I call it, the rugged beauty. And this is
Mhm.
the place that I think where, when getting away from the madding city and trying to get a space, this is where one can come take a break. And we have
Mhm.
a restaurant, and so we have set up a little this thing, and it is very open, this thing, because it's not a resort, like it's not closed, it's not
Mhm.
modern building. What we have done with my architect Babu Ram Bhandari from
Mhm.
Pokhara itself is we evolved this buildings that would be without destroying the environment, without destroying the nature.
Mhm.
We even, I mean, we didn't want to even cut any of the trees. I don't think we did. Maybe one tree out of all the thing, but all the structures. So each and since it was a rocky hill, and there were a lot of stones, boulders, and we didn't want to flatten the land. It's a terraced
Mhm.
land. We kept the structure as it is, the land as it is. So our structures were built in staggered way. Each, I mean, we have, and the boulders. We had local craftsperson who crafted each of these. I mean, broke the boulders and crafted them to brick size, so that all our buildings, all our structures are built with that. And for the roofing, we have used the thatch, the grass that is grown here, and the that is grown here. And again, as little carbon footprints as possible. And even
Mhm.
only 30% of cement we use so that we avoid the carbon emissions. And we have already planted in the last 3 years, we have already planted about 300 uh, saplings. Hopefully, by the statistics that goes, 30% can survive, but here we are taking care of it so well that about more than 50% will survive. So in about 5 years, these saplings will grow into trees. And as I believe, I plant a tree not to sit under its shade, but hoping my grandchildren will be able to sit under that shade. Because the way we are developing, we are encroaching into the Mother Earth, we are chopping our trees, we are destroying our uh, water bodies. I mean, it's a sad story about Bangladesh. Look at what has happened in the last 10 years, the way the metropolitans have grown, the congestion, the it's become concrete jungle. So they want to become Singapore. Isn't that sad? Why do we have to go west? Singapore has copied New York, so why do we want to go to the west when east has so much to give, so much to share? And coming to the present time, you see, we can see it's how this sort of, I mean, this is the beginning, unfortunately. And what this COVID-19 has done is shaken our roots. We still don't know what is going on. We still don't know what, how, why, where. And we have to start thinking of a new lifestyle, which is more sustainable. As I said before, as Dr. Shoemaker had said, back in the 70s, small is beautiful, and less is more.
Yes, sir, there are very good responses
So I think
from
in a
the audience.
nutshell, said a lot.
Yes, yes. Sir, there are many good responses from the audience. Yes, Amina Tapsam,
I
he
can
said,
see
"Oh
anything, so
my."
you can.
Yes. Like Amina Tafson, I think she also think you as her mentor. Zaheda Tamanna, very well said. Akku bhai. Okay. Abida Salwa, she said, you are right, sir. Firdaus Rana, good to see you, the life legend of Bangladesh. Humaira Tanzila, she said, salam, sir. It's great to see you after a long time. Farzana Mullik, she said, you are
We
such a legend. So everybody thinks you are legend, and many actually you have many women follower actually. So all of them actually
I'm
they
sorry,
respect
you're
you.
breaking.
Yes, yes. So many of the people actually just following you. They want to know more about you,
I didn't know I
and
have so many followers, but thank you.
yes. Even again, Maliha, she said, "You are wonderful, sir." So everybody actually wonderful. How you are thinking? How do you want to share your thoughts? But my major question is that from my side, I want to know from your childhood. Like example, you are in California, you are in safe place, but you come to the liberation war and you take these challenges. Again, you are in USA and you finish your higher study. Again, you come to Bangladesh and you develop your business. Most important thing is that what we are talking. I am also son of a freedom fighters. So for freedom fighters, you build up museum and all of the things. You make all of the successful things. Even now, what we are finding that you are the right place. You are thinking about green technology. You are thinking about green lifestyle. You are thinking about carbon emissions and all of the thing, all of the things you take initiative, which is 100% correct. But my objective is that we have to understand what's your thought process from the beginning, like because a man can do many wrong things in his life, but every time you take challenges and after a few years and decade we find that you are in right path. So what's the issue? How do you build up your thought process, your analytical process? How you want to share your thought process with us, because there are many young people, they can learn the thought process, because it's quite impossible. We think that we are in modern age, But ultimately, no, we have to go to the green again. You are in that place. So we love to know about your thought process.
Well, you see, the I mean, I also don't understand my thought process because I'm constantly thinking, and I'm thinking before me, and
Mhm,
maybe because I have to go back to my past of the war and the PTSD and how I overcame that, and that, I guess, makes you gives you that strength to be able to challenge, and you don't worry about what you don't think what is tomorrow. You know that, when the tomorrow will come, I will face it. But what you know is what is it that I want to do. And right or wrong, I want to do that. And I would listen to people. I talk to people with about my ideas, but not
mhm,
necessarily that I would change ideas. If I have my goal to get somewhere, I know I want to go there because, as I said, I ask my conscience, and I know that I want to do it, and I know I will be able to reach there. Maybe in 1 year, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years. But the
mhm,
goal is there. Like this goal that I had, what I've
mhm,
started creating now, and what
mhm,
I hopefully by next year it will be running full fledged, and then it is, that I have achieved it. But then I don't know if that is the end of my journey, because
mhm,
I I have that this feeling that my it's been a journey. All the past that I had, I have no regrets, because
mhm,
that is the most important thing, that you cannot have a sour taste,
mhm,
in your mouth and in of the past. Then then you become weak. Then it draws you back. What's
mhm,
gone, it's the best, because
mhm,
everything that has happened in the past, good or bad, there can, maybe
mhm,
you've faced a lot of evil people, but you have also faced the good people. You have learned where not to step, where to step, where to move forward, because we don't live forever. Our time is short, but we have a lot to do. We have a lot to see. I've seen many countries in the world. Maybe I
mhm,
still want to see a lot more,
mhm,
but and
mhm,
then I keep that there is no, I mean, like in my corporate life in the past, before 3 years, everything
mhm,
had to be perfect.
mhm,
When like it's a brand standard, you have
mhm,
got that in your mind, that it's a straight line. But
mhm,
now I'm here, it's a totally different ball game. It's wabi sabi, the
mhm,
perfection, the beauty is in that imperfection. That is what it is. So I cannot expect my craftsman in this remote village of Nepal to be
mhm,
chipping the stones in a straight line. It will be a
mhm,
little crooked. The wall that we'll make may not be straight. Even the land itself is not straight. So when you're trying to build, the wall can go a little bit the terraced. So that
mhm,
is the concept you have to be able to adopt, to be able to accept. It's not question of price, it is the question of where you are. It's different. We are all global citizens, we are all human beings, but each
mhm,
one of us has unique, each region, each kind of people has their own uh, ideas, own ways of do it. So I cannot try to make it's not like a military. I'm not trying to make it a uniform, disciplined brigade. So that's
mhm,
the mindset we'll have to have, because when
mhm,
you're working in the modern city, with a brand, you have got a certain standards. You have to do this. But here in this village, I cannot do that because it just doesn't work. And here you learn that, like I mean, which is again a pain, because that is how it is, in the main, in the, in the modern world, as if you want to call it. I don't know I mean, there is definitely two world now that I can see that I'm living here. That there are a lot, like, here I have to live, and I believe in it. and I wanted it, the biodiversity. So we do not even kill the rats that's running around here. You know, with the bees, the birds, the cockroaches. It's there. You know, we just the natural process. So they have as much. I mean, they're contributing to this world, to this earth, to my farmland, to my organic farms, to grow my plants, to grow my trees. You know, so that concept of biodiversity, that you live here, and then the community, it's a total ball game. And there are so many in this little village. I think there are about 8 or 9 different kinds of people, different tribes, different sect, different mindset. But in that, the unity that is their strength. There's a unity in this diversity. That's the beauty of this. This is what I've learned here. You know, we have even in if I go and you look at America, what is going on? You know, I mean, the country has one of the best constitution to protect each and every citizen, but it's not happening. It's just boiled over the you know the kettle. It's unbelievable, and it's very saddening because we are so connected, all of us. What's hurting the American people hurts us too, because it is painful to see another one human being hurt by another human's emotion or the ego, or that because we are different color or different, we speak different language. Here, I do not think that. You see, this is the strength of the Nepali people because of their, I mean, it's not that because of their landlocked, but they have ages of years of people going around one end to another, seen different kinds of people, and they live together very happily, and they face the struggle, the hardship of living in the hills. It's not so easy. You know, we take it for granted, the water supply in the cities, in the metropolitan, in the modern world. You would think it wild to 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 have 6 days without any water. That's impossible. But we do, and water have to be carried from miles away. These ladies, 65-year-old ladies, neighbor, she is drawing 20 liter of water on her back. I mean, that is how hard they work, but they're still smiling, and that is where the strength is. And this is, I'm so happy I could come here, because what I have done all my life in the past 65 plus years, now I'm 68, until I was living a very comfortable life. Life is so wonderful, so smooth. I mean, it's so easy. But now, the 3 years I'm living here, it's more beautiful, because now I'm understanding. Yes, what was I? I was a fool. I was wasting so much. I was using this tissue one after another. Why? These are the simple we have to understand, because I hope the new world, that the new world after the COVID-19, the new lifestyle will be making us understand, less is more. Let us not waste. Let us not eat so much. Let us not, I mean, how much food do we need? How much meal do we need? And we have to have healthy food. We have to have enough strength in ourselves, immunity to be not so sick. I mean, look at, I think, one of the secret of Nepal's not being so much infected yet. I mean, because every day it's new stories. It's about 12 or 1,300 people have been affected out of the 30 million population. It's because it the people have some sort of immunity of the food they eat. The intake is good. It's organic. It's vegetables. It's not excessive, not waste. Nobody wastes any food. Nothing of that sort. And the life is good, and the air is fresh, and the clean living. And I think these are certain things, and it's not been. I mean, there are certain cities like the Kathmandu, Bukhara, these built cities, but it's not as easy as in the metropolitan cities. So I think if now is the time for them to understand that the growth have to in a more rational way, so that it doesn't become impossible to handle. That's what's happening in congested cities. People are just living on top of each other, and we have to re-rationalize our thinking of how much space really we need to our living, to for our office. And you know what, I'm glad that what we are doing now, you know, the video conferencing, having interviews in the video, and this is, let us hope this is the new norm, the new normal in the new world, because with this new technology we have the accessibilities. Do we need to really travel from one end of the world to another to attend conferences, to attend meetings, you know? I mean, look at the air world over for the last 5 months, because of the cut down on the airlines, the carbon emission that has come down so tremendously down now, which is incredible, because it is helping the air, fresh air to be, people can see the skies, people can um, breathe easy, you know? I mean, and these are the things that we have to get from there. So we can use this sort of video conferences for conferencing for all the different meetings, the different, you know, companies, the businesses. Every time there's a meeting for any corporate thing, everybody flies down to wherever, whichever city they choose. Maybe you're Kuala Lumpur, or maybe it's New York, but people are flying thousands of miles on that jet plane, burning those fossil fuel and carbon emission. So these are the things we have to start really thinking now, looking forward. Instead of panicking and that the world is finished, it's not finished. But we have to rebuild in a new way. And it's the young people. You know, this is the, as I said, this is the opportunity, a golden opportunity for the young people to start thinking how they can build their world, because it's not our world anymore, because we are at the fag end of our life. It is, and the leadership has to be taken over by the young people, the people in their 40s. They're the ones who are the new heroes, the new fighters, and the new kingmakers, let's say, and the policymakers. So they have to think rationally and not greed, not self. It has to be an inclusive world, an inclusive society, an inclusive global community. And it has to be everyone thinking in the rational way. No hatred, you know. I mean, hatred takes us nowhere. You know, really, each, I mean, you can have your own religion. You see, it's a personal thing. Let us not make it into an irrational fight and hatred that we have to call, you know, the Christians are the best, or the Muslims are the best, or the Buddhists are the best, or the Hindus are the kings. No, let it be. Let us all, you know, I don't want to make you be what I'm thinking, but I can only prove with my deeds, my work, my deeds, my words, my, you know, actions, what I've done. And if you like it, join me. If you don't like it, all right, I tell me what you are doing. Let us have the one thing is that it's an inclusive of the society, not destroying the nature, not destroying the climate, not destroying the environment. You know, it's a one world. And then it's for everybody, and we can really live happily, peacefully with everyone, because it's share and care, you know. And that is, I mean, that is how I've always thought. That is what, whatever I've done. I've been in a corporate world. I ran two great international brands, but each brands have their own thing. But I convince them that when we are doing our business in Bangladesh, it's the most important heritage, our culture have to be represented through the global. You know, we are a global, but we must think locally. We must respect our heritage, our culture. And that's why the in our Pizza Hut KFCs, when I was taking care of it, I made sure that the spirit of liberation war was imbued on my team members. That spirit should be there. That spirit of volunteering, of giving, of caring. That is
Mhm.
what an operator should be. That is what a servant should be. Or a person working under me. That is the spirit that should be. That, why go fight in 1971? How could I dare at the age of 18? And I didn't know whether I'll come back alive or dead. But my mother thought I'll come back alive, and made me commit that I will study further, do the higher studies. But she
Mhm.
had that thing that yes, he can die. That's what how mothers, and that's why the mothers are so wonderful, because they have so much uh, believe in their children.
Mhm.
and
Mhm. Yes.
that's why you see each of us, like I fought for my country, but now I've grown older, I've seen the world, and to me the world is my country. See,
Mhm.
we are a global citizens, and that is how the new world is going to be. We have to think out of the box. We have to do things for everybody. Not we have to do our things for our own country. We have our duties, we have our responsibilities. But when we look at the bigger picture, if the whole world can move up together, we can all move up. It's not anymore. You see, the United States is as much hurting. The people of America is hurting more than us people in Bangladesh. I would say in many cases. Maybe the rich are not. The rich of Bangladesh are also not hurting. But you
Mhm.
see, it is the common people are hurting everywhere. And that
Mhm.
is what we have to work, that is inclusive, that helps everybody, that not for only one person, not just for my own self to become profit oriented to make more money. That money
Mhm.
must be equated. Everybody, we all have our needs, but how much money do we need? How much need do we have? Do we really need such that? And it's only certain period of time in our life, man. We come
Mhm.
clenched hand, and we shall live with empty hand. And the bottom
Mhm.
line is that, isn't it?
Exactly. Sir, actually, there are a lot of responses from audience. There are Bangladeshi peoples, even lot of things. কে এম নাসির অনেকদিন পর আকু ভাই আপনাকে দেখে খুব ভালো লাগছে, ভালো থাকবেন সব সময়। কবির রিপন, ওয়াও, নাইস থিংস অ্যাবাউট আকু চৌধুরী। আমেনা তাপসাম, she said very well said. Mohammad Shohel Rana, we are acquiring many ideas and knowledge for the new world. She is actually doing a lot of work for World Talent Economy Forum. She is a IT person. SK Zaria, SK Jaria, you are wonderful, sir. Mohammad Nasirul Islam, nice program, and I am watching. Abida Salwas, you cannot have sword test. That's a great thing. Learn today from you, Akku Chaudhary sir. So you are actually great mentor, sir. It's a brilliant. It's not. I even I share with my team that I'm sure if this man come to our show, it will be amazing because in that show many of the people from Cyberjaya to Silicon Valley, many big scholars, even from Bangladesh, India, even Australia, around the world, many of the scholars actually joining today. Actually, we get lot of love, lot of respect, and lot of beautiful comments. It's not
No,
for me;
I
it's for
think I'm
you.
very fortunate. I'm very
Yes.
fortunate.
Yes, this is rare. This is rare. That's why, sir, we want to motivate ourselves. We need mentor like you, sir. Then I have specific things. Your thought process is brilliant, and then most important thing is that in present world, value and transparency. Okay, value and transparency. Even for young peoples, like value and transparency, how we can grow our values like you. Like it's if I think about you, actually, it's not enough. Like example, how you build up your careers in nations as well as at present condition, how you live your life. This is actually amazing. So in that point of view, for us how we can develop our values, integrity, and transparency.
Develop what? Can you repeat, please?
Yes, I want to know that like values is most important part, right? Like your values actually help you to develop such kind of brilliant things. Your values help you to go to the liberation where your values helps to like build up a successful ventures, and your values and integrity helps you to build up this ecosystem. So how we can build up this value, honesty and transparency?
See, now the new world is again, it will be totally IT based, and
Mhm.
we have to be connected, and the IT people have to really get themselves understand that they have the most important responsibility to take the nation, the world, the individuals forward with integrating individual. It's not, it's IT should not be an exclusive. It's not should it should be now every person needs it. Already we are, because everyone, even in this village,
Mhm.
the lady who is tilling the land has her
Mhm.
phone in her waist, you see, because she has to be connected. And that is the beauty, that the modern technology, that Jobs, Bill Gates, and all these people have done great work in getting us connected. And the other people who have created this base, like the software, the apps development that makes us now connected. Otherwise, can you imagine what would have happened if we were not being able to connect? Now we can
Mhm.
all get our work done. We can get our offices in our homes, in our palm or in our lap. We can carry it around. So this is how the accessibility now has to be for everybody. So how we can use this
Mhm.
knowledge for our children out here in the village, how easily they can be taught through such devices, and how the
Mhm.
farmer can learn. You see, there are all apps, but of young people is because there is no money, there's no profit in this sort of things. See, so we have to forget that again, I'm talking about that we have to rethink that, the not the Western form of climbing up stairs to get higher and higher, make a bigger office.
Mhm.
Now our struggle, our fight, our focus, and our lifestyle will be to have everybody, so that whatever I am having, you are having, he's having, they're having, we are all having, we're sharing, we can evolve, develop equally and together. It's not communist or socialist in that way. Let us think out of the box. You do
Mhm.
not have to be branded by anything. It is to
Mhm.
be one thing that is, either your conscience or whatever you want to call it. And the most, I'm glad you're talking about the IT, because that is very close to me, because I've because that has helped me ever since, I mean, uh, and one incident of the IT's contribution to me, when I was doing the excavation in the Muslim Bazaar killing field, I needed to, every night I would come home, I would talk with my networks, with my friends all over the world, because I was trying to figure out how to do, because I had no idea how do you do excavations, because how do you, when you take the
Mhm.
bodies, that because these are all evidences. Specialist who was in Sri Lanka, and I managed to get that person come to Bangladesh, and he could teach us, and the Bangladesh army was helping us do the excavation. So we had a a half a day session with them, so that if we had this kind of technology, we would have been doing through the video
Mhm. Yes.
conferencing. But those days we didn't have that. So he flew in Dhaka, and then he went with me to the Mirpur, the to excavation site, and he talked with the personals who were working with me, and gave us a lesson of how careful we have to be, because we cannot destroy it so that it doesn't become valueless, because those remains of the victims of 71 were waiting there for to be dug out as evidences, not to be just some sort of a show or propaganda. And that is why you see that is how that the IT people can help in our situation. They are the most helpful, because the future ahead is them. They have to keep us all connected, keep us all going. So it is, they are in next front run fighters after the virus slows down, the doctors are relieved, but then the IT people have to take over to connect us, to make it accessible, to make it easy, not make it complicated. The ways of how.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Sir, can you hear
Are we
me?
there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ah,
Can you hear me, sir?
I think we are back.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes,
Ah,
please continue.
I
Please
can hear you.
continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you,
So
sir.
I think
Yes.
that softwares, all these things, this is the future. You know,
Mm.
I think the world have to understand. I mean, already it is how easy accessible of because, and more importantly, we have to start thinking of chain from one end to the other end, their own supplies, their own product.
Mhm. Yes, sir. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Yes, yes. Okay, sir. Sir, there are
yeah, I
few.
can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. There are few good response. Like example, Arak Meheraz, he asked you, dear sir, you are the freedom fighters and you
Yeah.
fought 1971. I think now we have to fight against COVID-19 all together like that, like 1971. So, like example, can you give them some advice? Like example, how you organize and do it, like in 1971, and how all of the Bangladeshi, not only Bangladeshi, there are many international communities here, like how we can fight against COVID-19. There are many good response. KM Nasir, he said, "You are a nice man." Then many Bangladeshi people actually missing you a lot. KM Nasir, many Bangladeshi people. অনেকদিন আকু ভাই আপনাকে দেখে আমার খুব ভালো লাগছে, ভালো থাকবেন সব সময়. Many people actually respond. They love you so much. You are actually
Well,
people oriented. You
I'm
are lucky.
grateful to each and every one of them that they took the time to listen, that they tuned in, and I miss each and every one of them. And every time I go to Bangladesh, I try to meet as many people as I want, and hopefully next time I go, we I'll meet more people and in a bigger way. And
Yes.
as I said, you see, like, yes, we are already like in 71 people are unique, and globally we are all together in it. It's not a fight of individuals, it is for everybody. So, and that is where the most important thing is. Can you hear me?
Yes. Of course, sir. Yes, we
And
are hearing you.
that is why that, that what I'm learning from here, the strength is in the unity in diversity. We all may be diverse people, diverse nations, diverse religion, but there has to be a unity in us, and that has to be the strength. We have to be as human being. That's why, my slogan has always been Joy Manush.
Joy
I
Manush,
fought
yes.
with Joy Bangla, in the warfield. But now, you see, I have accepted the fact that even in Bangladesh, we have so many different kind of people. We have even heard our own, Adibashis,
Mhm.
which is one of the most saddest part in my life, because in 71, I fought for everyone. I fought for Manush. I fought for human being. I didn't
Mhm.
fight only for Bengalis. And everybody is Bangladesh, of the people of Bangladesh. They're from the hill tracks. They look different. They talk different. They have their own culture. But we cannot eliminate anything. Just as I said, even coming here, I've learned also we cannot do that to the birds and the bees.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yes,
this
sir.
is the most important thing to move forward. We can
Mhm.
build that. This, you see, I will quote, give you a quote of my young scientist friend, whom I asked to tell me in one sentence to define this virus, that is the coronavirus affecting us. And this young friend Saukat either told me, wrote to me that this is an epidemic of fear.
Mhm.
It's an epidemic of fear. It's
Mhm.
creating a paranoia. It's making us all panic. More people dying. This I mean, more the victims of the fatalities are happening from more non-COVID diseases. But the panic COVID 19 is like, driving us all crazy. We have to hang in there, understand how to protect ourselves, how to isolate ourselves, and
Mhm.
pro- protect others from my interaction with them. We have to
Mhm.
keep our social distances. We have to bear in mind we have to we stay in. And
Mhm.
even if we are going to have to go outside, we have to keep those social distances, no matter how painful, how hurtful it is. It will be over. It's not the end of the world, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm. Yes, sir. One like example,
So
you
that's
said
how we can move forward.
exactly, exactly, sir. You said the new world. Can you hear me, sir? Yes, you are talking about the new world. So every country, even example, every country, they are moving for example industrialization. They are moving for urban development. They are moving for. They want to be Singapore. Everyone want to be Singapore. So exactly scientifically, what's your suggestion, sir? Like example, what actually policymakers as well as governments or the corporate house they have to do, what they have to do in that situation. As you said, this is the new era of the world.
Uh, can you repeat that again?
Yes, no, sir. My question is that, as you said, this is the new era of the world, and every country we want to develop our like smart city and this kind of things. But what your advice for these corporations or for the government or for the young? That what should we do for this new era or for this new world? Like when we develop our policy and everything, how should we think about the new era? What you are talking about green urbanizations or the green worlds, how do we implement it?
Well, you see, the green power is most important. Already, there are people who are investing in the solar energies, and that
Mhm.
have to be done more aggressively. I mean, let's take example for Bangladesh. I
Mhm.
mean, it's overpopulated, overcrowded. Now they have to start rethinking. How can they replace those big? They cannot. destroy the big structures. They have to rethink of how they can use those spaces in a better way, and all their glasses, all their roofs, and how they can make it so that they can pull in the solar energy into there to create their own each of their building should be self-sustainable with their own energies that they get from the solar or the wind if it's possible. And second thing is that the air conditioning, we have tried to create our own air. That has not worked. That is not working. COVID-19 has shown that those people, because of you have to have airflow. I mean, staying stuck, if you have got the disease, if you've got the germ, if you are, COVID-19 infected person, and then close door place, because you are, I mean, if during the isolation, during the quarantine, if you are closed in, because you are breathing your own air, you are not getting fresh air in the air conditioning. You are trying to purify that same air, which is impossible. So we have to open our windows. You have to have natural ventilation. So these sort of structural redesigning, there's so much work. Architects have to get involved. They have to start thinking green. The engineers have to start thinking green. How, and the sewage, how do you control it? Pollution, how do you recycle the plastic, the amount of plastic that we waste that's being dumped? How do you reuse it? How should we control it? What is better use of those plastics? Or if we can just totally replace the plastic, that will take time, but an effort have to be started. There are places who have done it, and we have got a lot of our own. We have got the bamboo, we have got the banana leaves. We have to restart, rethink how we can change our factories to adapt to making recyclable things, the clothes, whatnot. There's so much new opportunities that's going to come. But again, you cannot start thinking in a big way. We have to stop forgetting the greed, the need to make profit within a month. I mean, I invest 1,000 today. I want 10,000 taka tomorrow. Sorry, that mentality have to end now. Period. There's no moving forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, there are more followers. They are joining today. Sanjida Rahman, we could follow your footsteps and living in nature. Thank you. Monowara Begum, she give you Assalamu alaikum. Great job, Akubhai. So glad to see you after a long time. Stay safe. Monica Chaudhuri, you are talking about simple living. So everybody loves you. Everybody. Like example, actually we have 1 hour. Can we extend these sessions with your permissions? If you have time, then we will continue because there is a huge
There are a lot
response
of,
from the
I really look forward for them to carry the torch of the things that they've learned, and that everybody can do it. It's tough, yes, but like I had to wait till I was 65 years old. So I mean, but the thing is that what I'm trying to tell now, for the young people, now is the time to think of changing their, not only their own lifestyle, but also the lifestyle of their country, of the world, of everything around. We have to just start rethinking, and it's always the young people and our grandchildren. Already you see a person like Greta, she has shaken the whole world, a 16-year-old girl. And these are the people who are making the changes. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, in the climate change struggle, she's the one who has contributed more than all my other friends who have been working in this sector for the last 20, 30 years. But she did it, and with her Down syndrome and everything. And I think that is her, you see, that is her strength. She has used the her abnormality to become more challenging, more absorbing, more acceptable, and that is her strength. And that is the
Mhm.
strength. Our weakness can become our strength.
Mhm. Yes, exactly, sir.
I think
Actually,
everybody has that ability.
yes, Mohammad Suhail
Go.
Rana, he's actually doing very good job for us. He's a successful program with wonderful person. You are we are thankful with your kind touch. Actually, World Talent Economy Forum is a really great. Like when you come, believe me, when I writing to you, I just crying that you just join with us. So everybody loves you. This is very important thing. So another important thing, because there are many youth, we have tremendous problem now right now, many people losing their job, many young
Thank
people.
you very much for inviting me.
Yes, yes. So sir, example, from Bangladesh, you are successful entrepreneurs.
Well,
Yes, can you hear me, sir? Can I ask you a question?
I can't hear you. Can you repeat?
Yes, sir, can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay, sir, my question
Yeah.
is that
Go ahead,
there
please.
are, yes, there are many Bangladeshi people, they, for this COVID-19 challenging situation, they lose their job. So what your suggestion? What your advice for them? Or how the, like example, they can overcome from this challenging situation? Because we have many people outside the country, they are working in the Middle East, Asia Pacific, even in Europe, even in USA. Many people, they are working in the garments industry, many people losing their job, many young people. So in that situation, what should be the corporate strategy, or how these people can be employed? What your suggestion?
Well, you see, I mean, it's not just going to be happening for the people of Bangladesh. It's going to be happening for everybody. Even
Yes, sir.
the you see, whoever is in whichever country, they're all also going to be losing their own jobs. There will be, the Americans are going to be losing. They have already lost, many Americans have lost their jobs, and it is just that, as I told before, we have to adapt to the new way, and we have to resize, rethink ourselves. Those people who are from Bangladesh, if they have no jobs in America, there's no business in America, they have to go back to their own country. But believe me, there is always opportunities in Bangladesh, but they cannot think big. That thinking big, that we are going to become the big shots overnight and right now, that I think we all have to, each of us. I have downsized myself 3 years back, because when I
Mhm.
came here, I knew
Mhm.
that, I mean, or even if I lived in Bangladesh, I would have had to downsize myself, because as a corporate person, you get spoiled. You get so much of excess, that you have to cut down in your lifestyle, in your everything. When I moved here, I invested everything for my business. So now
Mhm.
it is question of, and I'm very content. I'm very happy, and I regret I have not bought a new clothes for, I think, 2 years. No, I'm
Mhm.
not. I mean, sometimes, like I told you, we don't have water. I don't take a shower for 7 days, which is unthinkable. I used to take twice a day shower. So
Mhm.
the whole idea is, everything is not going to be same all the time. And that
Mhm.
whole mentality, that we grow and grow and grow and big, it is not but money alone, and not the material needs. We all, now this COVID has taught us that that is not the way to go. Again, I go back to Dr. Shoemaker. If any of you care to read it, if I don't know if it's available, it might be in the somewhere in the web. And it is Small is Beautiful, written by E.F. Schumacher. He
Mhm.
is a German, but he was in Harvard, and he was in England, and he's from the 70s, and he wrote this
Mhm.
book in 1970 and came out in 72. So it's, I think, we all have to understand, don't get despaired, don't get depressed. There's nothing to be depressed about. There are worse, the people who are worse off than most of us and most of you. But the thing is that there's another tomorrow. The sun will rise tomorrow. Look at that and prepare yourself for that. Downsize yourself and start from scratch if needed. If you have your aims and if you're enough, if you are hardworking, hey, sky's the limit. Yes, but it has to be inclusive, not the like the old Western way, not the American way. You don't step everybody to climb up into the mountains. That cannot happen anymore. We have to rethink, resize, reshape,
Brilliant, sir.
and start
Brilliant, sir.
thinking less is more.
Yes, it's a brilliant. Sir, the last part of these discussions, we need some few positive advice. A lot of things we are getting from you, for especially for youth, how we uh, how we actually fixed our objective for our lifetime and how we achieve it, like from your point of view, strategic point of view, how let's say there are many youth, everybody love you. This is actually completely different session for us. This is the first time a man come and he own everybody's love. So this is very, you are man of land. We love you so much. So we want to follow your guideline in that particular situations, like how a young people should fix his life objective and how he can achieve it, and what's the real meaning of life actually. What do you think?
you, to become an achiever or to overcome the storm, there's no magic to it. The strength has to be within you. You have to be ready, to be willing to hell. No, whatever comes, I'll fight, I'll do it. That strength has to be developed, evolved from within you. It has to come because your conscience has, you have to believe it. You see, it can be half-hearted. There's no, I mean, you have to be willing to give up everything, go alone. As they say, যদি তো ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে একলা got to be
Yes.
ready for that, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sometimes
Yes.
nobody will be with you. Everybody will put you down.
Yes, that is actually brilliant things. That is actually brilliant thing. যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে. So definitely, so there are a lot of questions, lot of good peoples. They're joining with us, and World Talent Economy Forums. We are like-minded people. We want people like you, those who can motivate us, those who can guide us, and you are the real example. You are not only in the seminar people or conference people. You put everything in your life, how to like make life simple, how to make life like very simple. You create this example, so all of the young people, those who joining today, many scholars from around the world, they are really grateful to you. And definitely we arrange a lot of conference and talk. We will be really grateful to you if you join us, and we can arrange like thousands of the peoples from around the world. You are not only Bangladeshi peoples, you are global citizen. So from the global arena, many beautiful people are working with us. So we want your more contributions. And I think you are not in retired stage. In Malaysia, we see Mahathir Mohamad in 94 years old. He was prime minister. Okay, so I think you are very young to achieve more objective in your life. So yeah, you're if you think in that way, I'm true. I like when I saw that Mahathir Mohamad 94 years old, then he become prime minister. So I think you have a huge life. You can contribute for us, and we want to see you in the new norm of life. And we will be our leaders, and we will follow you, and we will implement all of your ideology and fact, because you are the man who actually adjust with that kind of simple life. So this is the objective of World Talent Economy Forum. Yes, sir. We want to we want to promote your thought and ideology. And I do not know how a people become so popular and everybody love you. I do not know. I do not know what magic you have, but we believe your slogan, Joy Manush. So last of these sessions, we want to do the same
Joy
slogan with you.
Manush.
So, okay, sir. Joy Manush. Joy Manush. Thank you, sir. It's a
Thank you.
very
We shall
brilliant
do it
program.
together.
And thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir.